Hey friends, welcome to our other section of woods that we never show you guys here at that 1870s homestead. My name's Rachel and we are doing some little winter inspiration ideas, winter prep today. But one of the things I said, I want to mark this maple while I can see it in case we get a bug in our pants this winter to come and clear this section of forest out. Gosh, scared me.
What was it?
I don't know.
Other things we have going on today is the baby trees, the Doug Firs that we planted a couple days ago. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple days ago. We need to protect them from the deer. So we need to get some fencing out. We'll build some rings for that. The last of the beehive wrap up for 2023 needs to happen. One of my hives is missing a quilt box on top to prevent moisture. I built another box for it last night, so today we'll get that put on. The orchard needs to be fenced. I put in the posts for it, but I never ran the electric wire. So we gotta get that done today too. And what else? We have dinner cooking in the house. We have a goat tenderloin in the crock pot for dinner tonight. If you're still with us when dinner time rolls around, we'll take you guys for that as well. So Rachel's still finding, isn't this maple beautiful though? Beautiful. Everything else in here for the most part, like there might be like 5 trees in this whole little grove that we're gonna keep. All the rest of it is just cottonwood, poplar. I have some of this no climb goat fencing that we like to use for building little rings to put around our trees. I put it back here in the woods, I left it. And now the trees are all grown right through it. I can't get it out of here. So this is what we need to make more of. This is about a 4-foot ring. No climb goat fencing. Keeps the deer from rubbing their antlers trying to get all the velvet off. This guy is brand new. Needs some protection. No deer have got him yet. So one of the things to help you guys out if you're wanting to do this, if you don't know how big, if you know how big of a circle you need, but you don't know how long of a piece of fence to cut, just multiply by pi. So basically if I use like if I want a 3-foot ring in diameter, multiply by 3 basically. So about 9 feet of fencing will make a 3-foot ring. If you want a 4-foot ring, you need about 12 feet of fencing. So it's my little tip for you guys. These ones I'm gonna make probably about 10 feet. That'll give me about a little bit bigger than a 3-foot ring. And all I really do is roll it up. I take some of the little ends of the fence and I wrap them around the other one. Nothing too complicated, no reason to be super fancy about this. Should be more than enough to protect them for quite a few years.
I hope your grip strength never goes away when you age. It's very, very handy.
Yeah.
I started to get worried this morning when you couldn't get the work curtain open. I was like, no, we need that.
You guys notice behind the pasture that we had let go wild basically all year long for our son's wedding, finally kind of mowed. I gotta mow it probably at least one more time before winter, I would think. I'm trying to let all the long pieces that are on the ground now dry. So next time when I mow, it kind of has a better chance of chopping them up into little bits and pieces. But I think next year we might do something similar and let a lot of it go crazy again, because it's absolutely beautiful. We love coming back here. Rachel even brought some chairs back here. Just come back here out here and sit and
tell them the 2 new members of the homestead that joined this fall.
2 new members of the homestead.
They lived back here.
Oh, the Herons?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a crazy thing happened. You know, like if you live around lakes and water, you get those big like white crane birds, you know, they're like this tall, big long beak. Those are cranes. There's like bluish dark gray ones called blue herons. And our neighbor has a pond right over here, and then there's a creek over that way. We ended up with 2 blue herons that basically lived back here all fall, and I couldn't figure out for the longest time, what are they doing? Why are they here? Why are they in our pasture? And I think my hypothesis or my theory is that there's about 100,000 grasshoppers back here. Big ones, little ones, and my theory is they just hung out here and basically ate grasshoppers for the entire fall in preparations for their migration south. Well, 2 days ago I found one of them dead out here. It was like tragic. I don't know like what happened to it. It had been dead for a couple days, so I couldn't really like see any signs of injury or trauma, but it was a big, their wings have got to be at least like this wide. But it was really cool seeing them back here. There was so many times when I tried to photograph them, but they're like really skittish. All right, another ring is done. So everything on this whole side of our property now goes Doug Fir, maple, all the way down. Everything's protected either with fencing or a tree tube. So they should have a fighting chance against the deer. We get a lot of deer back here. Sometimes in the late fall, you come back here with the flashlight and just shine across this pasture. There's been times when I've seen like 14, 15, 16 deer all back here just hanging out, chilling. The neighbor's dog's out tonight. They got one of those Labradors that they're training to be a leader dog for the blind people. It seems like it's a kind of a hard job, teaching a little puppy to not be a puppy. They're doing a good job though.
Bite, back on.
Oh yeah.
We grew that. A very ugly Granny Smith apple, but delicious.
We're gonna prune our trees this year?
Yep.
In the fall, right?
Yep. I say we are.
We'll see what happens.
Yep.
That'll be you. So this is what's next. This is what most people call a quilt box to go on top of the beehives. What you do basically is you take the top, the normal top of your beehive in the winter, and you remove it. You put this on, and then the top goes on top. On the bottom, you can see there's holes with some screen. The side, there's holes with some screen to keep things from getting in. And then you put some type of moisture wicking material. We like to use cedar. I've also used burlap bags. Some people use old quilts, thus the name quilt box. The concept here is in the winter when it gets really, really cold, the bees generate a lot of heat. They also generate a lot of moisture. The moisture wants to collect somewhere. You don't want it to collect on the top of the hive and drip down on the bees. So this provides a place for the moisture to go, gets absorbed into the wood chips, and then these air vents on the side exhaust and help to dry the wood chips out. So orchard fence is next. I need to get some supplies from the barn. While we're here, I'll show you the barn. The barn is basically in a state that it was from before we left for Alaska. So we buttoned everything down. We got this whole side done. This side's done. And this side's done. Still have to do the batten strips. Still have to do some window trim. But yeah, not done. I wish it was done, but we came back from Alaska. We were gone for 2 weeks there, and we had like 2 weeks to prep for the wedding. So we worked on that. Now that that's done, I'm hoping I can get back out here and spend some more time on it and try to get it a little further along before spring. So the setup is pretty simple. T-post, we got plastic insulators at the top. We put one of these about in the middle of the T-post. We wrap with poly wire around the top and the middle, and then we energize the entire thing with our Premier One solar fence energizer controller thing. It seems to keep the deer out. It's only a single barrier. It's not like a double fence, but it seems to work. There's plenty of other trees in the area to entice them, so we don't need a whole lot to deter them. These just clip on, really simple. And then we work our way around.
Ooh, so close, so close.
And just like take this and hold it this direction. Last piece, fence controller. Got wires. Battery, I put this out here 3 weeks ago so it would charge, and I never opened it up to check to make sure the battery on the inside was actually connected. So it's been sitting out here not charging for 3 weeks. That's okay. I have a fence tester. We'll bring it back out later and check it and make sure it's good. If it's not, I can always bring it in the garage and plug it in. I got a message from the neighbor earlier this fall, and he said, hey, tell me about your fence system that you use on your orchard. They planted a bunch of, I don't know what they were. He told me in his text message, new trees 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And he said every winter the deer come and they chew them to about this high off the ground, and they basically start over the growth process every single year because of that. Loud plane day. And he wants to do the same thing we do for our orchards. So don't think that like you have to have an orchard to protect trees from deer. I mean, there's all kinds of different trees that can be protected. Just the same way you use electric fence to keep animals into a fence, you can use it to keep deer and other things out. I don't hear it clicking.
Oh, but look how tiny it cooked up.
It was pretty small. I took it out of the pot and I was like, where's the rest of it?
It's so tiny. So our first time eating goat tenderloin, huh?
Yep. It was one of the things when we had our goats processed, we basically said, we want the tenderloin, everything else give us half stew meat, half ground goat meat.
Yep.
And this is one of the tenderloins. I put it in a crock pot this morning. It was an instant pot, but we use it as a crock pot. And I think you guys are a little crooked, maybe. We're using just a GoPro today. Our big good camera is having some issues.
Very tender.
In the crock pot with half Marsala wine, half beef broth, and some garlic and one whole big giant onion. Cooked that for about 8 hours today. Sliced up the meat, thickened the sauce, egg noodles with a little bit of butter because we're out of butter.
Yeah.
So I added a little bit of truffle oil.
It's delicious.
And then combined it all together. Is it any good? Really tender?
So good.
When it was cutting it apart, it was wanting to just shred. That's good. All right.
It's so good. I'm making dessert. I will leave the end of the video with that with you guys.
Yeah, it smells amazing in here.
I just canned all that pumpkin, and I always like to make something fresh with it. So I saved out 1 pint of the supermoon pumpkin and 1 pint of the Cinderella pumpkin, combined those, and we are having a pumpkin crumble coffee cake thing. But a very moist coffee cake, not dry.
Okay. I'm excited for it. So that was our, other than breakfast and lunch, you were basically with us for our entire Saturday. It's time for dinner. We're gonna eat, and then we're gonna rest.
Yep.
I think our son Cameron might be coming by later.
Yep.
We got to see the grandbaby this morning. One of them was on his way to go trick-or-treating this morning. He stopped by so he could see us.
Dressed up as a UPS package delivery guy. So cute. Not even 2 years old. Full regalia. Hat, all
Brown
package.
uniform, had a package in his hand.
So stinking cute. All right. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
All right, bye guys.
It's a little hot.
That's it.